Welcome back, biscuits, to the Wholesome feed. Boom, blah, blah, pop, pop. I know, that's about the extent of my amazing editing abilities there in post. So today, because I was sitting around thinking about this topic for a little while now, and I've talked about it a little bit before, but I thought I would go into more detail because it's a question I get asked, and it's a question that I'm always looking for an answer for, which is how to do Airbnb when you're traveling with a kid or kids and still do it economically. Because sometimes you can find an Airbnb place that maybe has, nice amenities, nice yard or something, but it's going to end up costing a lot and it's not really saving you money. And then you also have to do all the cleaning and care and everything while you're there. Are you okay, Bubba Goon?
No.
Did you slip on your art mat? Real time, man, real time. We have a plastic art mat. I think I've shown you that. I can't remember which of the vlogs. One of the vlogs, maybe the cleaning one on my other channel. And I think he just slipped on it. Oink. And no way is he trying to get any attention. No way, Jose. So Airbnb hacks for cheap stays when you're staying with your little one or your little ones. Hey, Gunder. So these are kind of my best tips that I have figured out through trial and error. I have rented, the wrong Airbnb. I've done, VRBO. I have checked the weird dates and weird locations and kind of played around with it in my own stays to figure out what actually saves you money and what ends up actually costing you money on the back end compared to what you think. Mama, and that's happened to me a couple times.
Want to know what I make?
I do once I'm done talking. He is doing arts and crafts with his various popsicle sticks and things over there. And so, yeah. It's like the pop-up popsicle sticks. We save them from the ice cream we get at the ice cream truck. Okay, Bean Sprout, if we aren't quiet, Mommy can't shoot this and then we can't go have fun. So some of my first ways to do savings are to look for week-long discounts. A lot of places might have a month-long discount, but you gotta take a peek and see if you can get a savings for a week long. It doesn't tend to be huge. Maybe it's 5%, maybe you luck out on it's 10%. But if you save 10% here on your trip and 10% here, you end up saving a lot of money so that trips don't have to be stressful financially, and so that you can spend the money, if you have that extra money to spend anyway, on more fun things than just where you're laying your head at night. So I look for weekly discounts, and that involves putting in my dates. So I need to know my dates, or if I don't have them solidly locked down. I'm back. I know. I'm starting to get my grumpy mom face because I've been trying to shoot this video for quite a while, and there's just a lot of background noise from small monkeys. I'm gonna start getting that eye twitch I get. Where was I? Hold on. Oh yes. Okay. So if you don't have your exact dates, you can play around with just putting in a week, kind of in the vicinity of when you want to travel, and seeing which places have better discounts. It does mean you're gonna have to stay put for a longer trip, right? But I find that works really well with small kids anyway, because moving them from place to place constantly is such a hassle. We're planning a big month-long trip that's coming up actually really soon, and I kind of regret that I'm moving us around so much. I probably shouldn't have done that, and I should have learned from last year's big trip not to do that. So I'm trying to give us more week-long blocks in places. But I get overeager and all excited, like, oh, I should go see all of these things in different places. So if you can do a week, it motivates you because you're getting your discount. You're going to save money on that. And it's also just going to be a lot easier on your kids because, they're going to bed in the same place every night. They're waking up the same place. It helps with kind of the disorientation of jet lag when you're waking up in the middle of the night with small kids that have no idea what time it is because their bio clock's all off. It's really helpful. So keep an eye out for those discounts. Okay, now this might not work for everybody because some people want a lot of space when they travel. They want to be able to put their kids in a different room. But what I look for, if I can, is to find just a room. Not a whole vacation rental, not an entire place, just a room that I can rent in somebody's house because it's so much less expensive. So much. And I don't mind. A lot of rooms will have a couple places for people to sleep, like a pull-out sofa and a bed. I mean, I don't mind. I co-sleep with my son, especially when we travel, because he gets stressed out when we travel, and you know, he's 4, he's very little, so he can just plop into bed next to me. But if you have a bunch of kids or you don't want to co-sleep because that will mess up your sleep routine with your child, you can then, often find a room that will have a second sleeping area or even sometimes a second bed. And that will save you so much money. You'll still have access to a kitchen, to bathrooms. Oftentimes you'll be able to wash your clothes. So I really like vacation rentals that let you just rent a room when I'm really trying to budget travel. I love finding places that are under $40 a night to stay for my son and I. For my son and me. And that's grammar. My mother, whenever I FaceTime with her, corrects my grammar, which you can imagine how annoying that is. That internal monologue. But I find that it saves me a lot of money when I do that. And sometimes you can't find a place for under $40 a night, even though it's just a room in somebody's house, and you have to go up because of, you want a safer neighborhood, or sometimes that's just not available in the area. So I will go above that, but when I'm doing a big trip, I really try to stick under that because, it lets us do these trips, right? I really try to keep to a budget on these trips, or it can just balloon drastically. I know somebody that says, oh, you can't do a week in Europe for under $15,000. And I'm like, where are you staying and what are you eating that you think that is your budget? You can absolutely do it on a budget. I'm a working mama. We save up all year and we go on our little trips, and I really try to stick to that budget, and that has saved me a huge amount of money to where I wouldn't be able to do certain trips or stay in certain places if I didn't find a good deal on rooms, because it would just take up too much of the budget, right? So take a peek and see if maybe you can finagle for your family being okay with staying in one room for a little while, right? It's not forever, it's just a short little while for your trip. You're gonna be out and about anyway, sightseeing and doing things, and you're gonna be so tuckered from jet lag and seeing everything when you get back that you're just falling asleep, right? So I find it works really well. Okay, now this one I have really learned through trial and error, and I have made mistakes on this one. So I hope that this saves mamas a whole lot of effort in just figuring out what actually ends up saving you money. So when you're booking a vacation rental, probably a room, right? Because you want to save money. So you're booking a room at somebody's house. You have to kind of calculate, and you need to know the different numbers on this. So look up public transport costs and weigh that against the price of the room. So maybe I frequently stay half an hour out of where, the main sightseeing is for whatever tourist area I am in, because it will be cheaper for me to stay there for a couple days, a week, 2 weeks, and pay for like a weekly bus card or a tube, Oyster card if you're in London. But to pay for public transportation, generally a couple days at a time, because when I was in Rome, we got it was a week-long or 5-day bus card where I could just take it, and I could take their metro as well, wherever we wanted, and I just paid a set amount for that card. And that way, I ended up saving money, but I have done that where I ended up not saving money because the cost of coming and going every day in public transport ended up, if I had just paid like $5 or $10 more a night, would have really equaled out just about, especially when you add on a little bit of convenience. So look about how much of a commute you're willing to make every day when you want to go sightseeing, and compare that to kind of the cost to see if you're really saving money on a cheaper room, or if you're saving money on a slightly more expensive room that doesn't involve so much transport to get to wherever you're going to be sightseeing. Because normally, you'll have a vicinity where you want to go see things. And that's been one of those tricky issues for me, to find areas that I want to stay, that I feel safe and happy in, that are family friendly, that are affordable and budget friendly, but also don't cost a ton to have to take transport in. When we were in Edinburgh, I stayed in the suburbs, and it took about half an hour, I would say, to get in on bus. It was shorter if I wanted to take the train, but I ended up buying daily bus cards that were a really good deal, so I ended up doing that. And I like it because it lets us, sit for a little bit when we're coming back from sightseeing or going to, and just kind of figure out what we're doing with our day, or come down from seeing all the sights and things we've been doing and going to all the museums. So I don't mind being on a bus or a train for half an hour when I'm traveling to save that extra money. But do the calculations, figure out what works for you. And it also depends, how many people are being charged the room. Sometimes rooms will cost more the more people you have. Sometimes there's a set limit and it's the same price for no matter how many 1 or 5 people in a room or a vacation rental. And then it also depends on what public transport fare is. My son is still young enough that for most part he gets to travel free with me on a lot of buses and trains and things. But that is increasingly not going to be true. And so then that sometimes doubles your transport cost. And so sometimes that doesn't then work to stay further out. It's not actually saving you money. So it's just kind of all these balls to juggle in the air. But it's things that I have done a lot of research on and I have just tested out through my own stupidity and mistake making that has let us go out and see things and travel. But, you know, stick to a budget. It's not some crazy, we are not staying at 5-star resorts when we go travel. We aren't eating out all the time. We might eat out a couple street food things and some bakery nibbles. But for the most part, you know, I cook in the vacation rental for our meals. I'll make us little sandwiches or tea in the thermos and cookies to take with us when we go out sightseeing, if we're going to go wander around the woods or something or go to a park. And that saves a lot of money. That lets you actually go see the world with your little ones. Because one of the number one things since I've started doing this series that I've heard from people is, oh my gosh, it never occurred to us as parents to actually be able to travel and not like just have to save up for years and years to be able to go, right? That you can do budget-friendly, safe, not just camping travel with your kids, and that sometimes going to see destinations in Europe can actually be cheaper than trying to go to other locations just because of the way, you know, areas that are frequented by tourists can sometimes have really great deals, great sales, great airline tickets. So that's, you know, it makes me excited whenever I get an email or a DM on Instagram from any parents that are like, oh, you know, this kind of inspired me that maybe I can actually take my family traveling. Because that was kind of the whole inspiration behind this. Is I thought, boy, I'd been talking to a really close friend of mine who didn't feel like they could travel with ease with the kids because it was so expensive. And I thought, there must be a way, as a travel-loving monkey, to be able to travel and enjoy it and have fun together as a family, to see these beautiful places, but to save money. So I hope you enjoyed my vacation rental savings hacks for families, because it can be done. It totally is possible. And these are like some of the top things that have been able to save me money that I so appreciate. So until the next video, hey, if you haven't already, click that bell, because it really does help you be able to see when I post these videos, and it helps my videos be seen by you because the algorithms are constantly changing. And I've heard from people, they'll, you know, shoot me a message and be, oh, I had no idea you made the last 4 videos. I wonder what happened, because they just didn't pop up. So hit that bell so you're actually getting notified for it. If you haven't already, subscribe. We do budget travel on here, gentle parenting, breastfeeding advocacy, and all sorts of wonderful motherhood and parenting topics for moms and dads to kind of live a happier, more joyful parenthood existence, because it doesn't all have to be so serious. It can just be part of our lives, right? We don't have to surrender everything that makes us a person to be a good parent. Sometimes we're the best parent when we're out there exploring with our children to see, you know, where are we in the world? What are we doing? What is inspiring us to be beautiful and kind today? So I am going to see you all over Instagram in between this video and the next. I've got a pretty fun one coming out. Well, I won't give away any details. Hey, thank you so much, Biscuits, for subscribing and being a part of this. If you want, I'll link down to all my romance novels down in the description box. And I love it when I see you all sending me messages about buying one of my romance books and loving them. See you around. Oh, uh-oh. Better go deal with Traveler Monkey.
No,
Traveler Monkey.
no,
Traveler Monkey.
this called.
That's really cool.
I didn't bring them with me. Hey, can we talk to Instagram, please, for a moment?
You can talk to Instagram when I'm done, absolutely.
No, this whole one hack.
Okay, give it a little check.
Hey, to tell you Instagram, but to tell you Instagram, but my mom had passed. I work for daughter milk and for who, and I work your elder and my mom modding everything. Well, my mom modding everything and elder modding everything and Instagram. Why can't you like chocolate so much?
Yeah, Instagram, why do you like chocolate so much? I don't know where this comes from, but he's asked this before.
And why come dirt on you?
Oh, I don't think there's any dirt on them. Okay, let me finish up. I love you. Go do your crafts.